Hello everyone, good evening, good morning, good afternoon based on your time zone. Where are you located in? So again welcome back in this workshop, that is object oriented programming system under the Apex. It's a 5 days workshop. So this is our third day. Okay, so today I'm going to show you this that is called variables, instances and references. Also like static block and good evening. Okay, then here you can see like variables, instances and reference of the classes. Okay, so how to work on that? So most of the people know these all things, but someone don't know about these all things like variables of the class, instances of the class, references of the class. Okay, so here I will show you these all things, let's say like variable of the class, instances of the class and references of the class, right? So let me open here these first things, that is called variable. So I will show you the variable here, but here before starting this variable, please keep in your mind the key points of the class. So first of all we have to learn these key points of the class. Okay, so here let's say point of remember, every class is a data type. Always remember, if you define any standard class or any custom class as a user defined type or maybe anything as you defined, right? So every class is a data type, always remember. So every class is a data type, always remember. Okay, then class is a user defined type. So every class is a user defined type. Here we cannot use a class directly. If you write some class and if you want to use that class directly, so you cannot consume that class or you cannot use that class. So that is the key points of the class, right? So here in this area can you here you can see like this is a plan of the house, you now like something like that. So I just declared one that is called here, right? So here you can see like integer equal to 100. So integer is nothing but it's a data type, right? So int means integer for this example. So now you can see like this is a plan of the house, like let's say if you want to make your house, right? So you cannot directly live in your house, right? So we have to make it like some raw material like concrete, cements, something like that. We have to require these all things, right? Then after that we have like some architect to manage the structure of the house, like that. So we have to maintain all the things. Without these all things we cannot make our house. So you cannot live indirectly in the plan, let's say map. So you cannot use live into the map, that is called integer. So integer is here you can see like this is a plan of this your house, and value means you now. So myself, yourself, this is the value like 100. So directly that 100 is the automatic not stored into the integer. That is the one problem, right? So if you want to store this variable, let's say int equal to 100, so you cannot live directly into the plan, right? So first of all you have to make the house, and then make the house means you already build your house and you can live in your house as well, because that is the strategy or that is the level of to create your houses and all the things, right? So this is the one things. And also you can see like that is the invalid statement, right? So integer equal to 100, that is the invalid statement, because we cannot assign this 100 value directly data type, right? So this is the one problem here. Now we have another things that is called integer I equals to 100. So I is a copy of the type of int, you can see. So I is a copy of type of int, you can see like is an integer type, right? So it's a copy of integer type, and if having some value that is called 100, and I is nothing but it's a constructed house, means you build your house, so you can live directly because 100 is a value, right? So value can be stored into the I, that is called house, and house can be have some lands, means this is the land, that is called integer. So it's a building block. Okay, so based on this building block we can write this value into the I here, right? So that is the one thing. Same thing you can apply for a string, let's say string hello. So you can this is the invalid statement, right? And we have another things that is called string str equal to hello, and str is a copy of type of string, you can see here, right? So you can store this hello word into the str variable. So str is nothing but is a like variable type of string. So you can store this hello word into the string, right? So this is the one thing for to knowledge about the key points of the class. So point out to remember, like every class is a data type, always remember that is the very most important for us, right? Then we will have most of the things that is called variable of the class. Okay, so how to define the variable of the class? Always remember. So variable is a copy of the class that is not initialized. Always remember, variable is a copy of the class that is not initialized. Means I will show you what is the initialization and declaration. Let me open my notepad here and I will show you what is initialization and declaration. So here in this notepad, let me add something here. Let's say like integer, okay, integer age here, and let's say I want to define some string type variable here, like string name equals to some value. Okay, let's say here let me add this string name here as well, right here. Right now name equals to some value, let's say Rohit, and after that you can see another statement, let's say like string address, right, and this is semicolon. Then also you can initialize and declaration in the same line. I will show you what is the difference between initialization and declaration. Okay, so don't worry about that. So here like string address and some address, let's say Delhi. Okay, so this is one. So here you can see the mainly difference of these all things here, right? So like this is an integer type of age variable, right? Name is a string type, and after that you can see like initialization of the some value, and under this line you can see all the things in the same line. So main difference is like initialization and declaration is, so this is the declaration. Always remember, this first line is a declaration. Okay, so this is the declaration, means you have to you already define one variable that is called age type of integer. You can you already declared this variable that is called age, that is called declaration. Now you can see this is second line, this is a declaration. Just focus on that because it's a very basic, or we can say that very root concept under the object oriented programming, right? So here that is called declaration, and here under second line you can see like initialization. Okay, so initialization. So you can see, so in first line you can see only declaration. Now second line you can see like declaration, and we can initialize later on this value. Here you can see this is initialization, right? And after that you can see here in the last line we can say that initialization and declaration in a same line. Okay, please focus on that. Initialization and declaration in the same line, you can see here, right? And also we can do that like this one in real time. This is the last approach, right? We can declare like this one and we can initialize like this one. Okay, so here we can do everything with the help of this string address equal to something, right, based on your need. So you can, okay, so here let me show you another things for you, that is called this is the variable declaration, right? Now let me show you another things here, that is called variable of the class. So variable of the class means it's a copy of the class that is not initialized. Let's say first f1 equal to new first. Please focus. Let's say I have one class like first, and I just initialize f1 with the help of new keyword. We can create the instance, right? You know very well. So f1 is the instance of the class that is called first class. So this is the first class instance that is called f1, right? So here, or we can say that like, or like first f1 that is called f is a variable of the class, right? And after that you can see here like f1 equal to new first, that is called f1 is an instance of this class. So you can write this way or you can write this way, both are same, but meaning are different. Always remember, you can define this variable look like this. You can initialize and declaration in the same line, or you can see like first f1 or f1 equal to new first here. So you can declare like this. So based on your need, so you can do that like this, right? So here you can see like first f1. So if you define some first f1, first time you can see like null value by default in this image, right? After that I just initialize something like f1 equal to new first, you can select f equal to new first, and we have some value under the f, like let's say 100, so it's automatic comes under the 100 here, right? That is the meaning of this line, that is called initialize the value at the runtime based on your need. You can do that right here. And here you can see like instance of the class. So what is this? So instance is nothing but it's a copy of the class that is initialized using new keyword. Always remember, right? So we can initialize of the class by using a new keyword. We can initialize the instance by using new keyword. So I already defined here, you can see in my example, let's say demo. So I just created one variable that is called public integer x equal to 100, right? Just focus on that. For now, here in this class we have demo and some integer value like x is equal to 100, right? Now let me initialize this class with the help of instance. So in the left right panel you can see like demo f1 equal to new demo. This is the first instance. Now you can see in the second instance like demo f2 equal to new demo, right? And I just want to print this one like f1.x. So under the x we have 100 values. Just focus on that. First time it's having 100 value in both of variables. That is called instances here. That is f1.x and f2.x. So we have first time 100 value. If you want to change something, let's say like 200, f1.x equal to 200. Now you can see here, okay, now you can see here f1.x means one value is 200, right? And then f2x is equal to some value as you already defined into a x. So that is the meaning of this line. Now f2.x equal to 300. Now you can see the new value like 200 and 300 here. Okay, so based on your need, so you can do that. Here you can see like f1 first time is x and x like second is x. Here you can see this 200. Okay, now you f2 you can see this memory diagram here, x value 100 and finally you can see like 300. Okay, I will prove that this value here in my demo. So let me open my org first of all. Okay, let's say Google, and let me open my org here. Okay, like login.salesforce.com. Okay, so you can log in particular org as you want here. For now here let me log in any of the org, let's say this one or this org. Okay, then we will see this example as we already discussed, let's say instance of the class, right? So here let me show you here. Let me enter the password first of all, and once you enter the password I will show you this practical how to do that, these all things, right? So here now you can see I just logged in into my org. Okay, and after that you have to open your developer console because I need that developer console. If you write your code, so always write your code under the class, right? If you want to store some code into the Salesforce org, so always write under the class. That is the basic things, right? So just click in this gear icon and click on developer console and open this developer console. Once you open this developer console, okay, so you have to create your new class. Okay, with the help of like file menu, new, and create the Apex class, right? So here I will show you this demo here, right? Let's say this one. Let me open here, click this file menu, click on new button, and now you can select Apex class. Let me create a new Apex class here, right? So class name like let's say demo. Just click on the OK button and it's creating me one demo class for me. Okay, so here you can select demo class. Okay, for now don't like forget these things like public and all the things. I will show you in this session, so don't worry about it. X is a specifier. Okay, so here like I have one class that is called public class demo, right? And after that we have like let's say some variable. So it's a public. I will show you what is the meaning of public. Okay, like public like integer x is equals to 100 some value, right? Let me save this. So once you save this, okay, so how to print that? So you can print based on your need. So how to print that? I will show you here. So let me open the anonymous window. You can open like with the help of like some shortcut shortcut key like Control E, or you can directly go here, that is called debug, and open the execute anonymous window. Just click this one and now you can see here, right? So once you open this anonymous window, just you have to write your code how to call this class. So you can call this class with the help of instances. So how to create the instance, you know very well, we already discussed like how to create the instance. So here just like demo d1 equal to new demo, after that semicolon here. So we initialize our class with the help of some instances, let's say d1, right? So in my example we have like f1, f2, something like that. Okay, so don't worry about that. So let me create another instance here. Let like demo d2 is equals to new demo. So if you want to create like n number of instances, so in the memory we have n number of parts. Please keep in your mind, right? This is the memory locations. So if you define like n number of instance, so n number of parts under the memory you can see here, right? So here let's say I want to define these all two instances here. Let me check the instances value here. So how to check that? So you can access, that is called non-static variable, with the help of instances, right? So how to print that? Let me like system.debug, and here you have to print this value. How to print that? Like d1.x plus some spaces or single space enough for me, then d1 dot d2.x. So what is the value right now? You can see in the memory we have already defined like x. So x is initialized with the help of like instances, right? So how to use this x under our like system.debug? So you can see like with the help of instances, so we can access the x value based on our instances. So let me execute this one first and let's see what happened. So once you execute this class here, right, so just click on this debug only, and once you click this debug only, now you can see in both places, please focus, in both d1 and d2 we have same memory location. Just focus on that, right? Let me draw some memory spaces here. Okay, so here just focus on that. We have some memory spaces here, and under this one we have some partition of the memory. Just focus on that. This is the d1, just focus. This is the d1 and this is d2. Just focus on that, right? So first time, if you don't initialize anything, we have null values, right? Always remember, if you don't define anything, it's a null value every time, right? So here null. So once you give some value like d1.x equal to some value, so that null value, that new value is override the previous value, means null value. So you can see like 100 here in the x first time. So we have some memory locations for particular memory, we consider part, right? So under here, let's say we have x and x, we have two instances, that is called d1 and d2, right? So if you want to access some value like let's say d1 dot x, okay, so right now you can see the new value is here, that is called previous value, that is called 100, right? So you can see the 100 value. Same thing you can apply for this one, like d2. If you want to access like d2 dot x, you can see this 100 value, because we have some same memory location, because x have some value means 100 value. That's why you can see in both instances same value, that is called 100. So you can see under my output, that is called 100 and 100. You can see that is the meaning of this one, right? So here let me show you another things for you. Let's say I want to define something. Let's say I want to update f1.x is equal to some value. So let me define this one, and here let's say here in another things, let's say d1 dot x equals to some value, let's say 200. So what is the output right now? Now you can see here, just let me copy this line and paste it here, and let's see what is the output right now. So you can see the new output here, right? So what is the new output? So just click here in debug only. Now you can see the previous value 100 is override with new value, that is called 200 in d1. So now you can see the new value here. Previously you can see like 100 in both sides, okay, like x value is 100 both side. Now I just updated new value with the help of first instance, that is called d1. Now you can see like 200 here, okay, 200, and this is the previous value 100. So you can see in d1 dot x or d2 dot x, you can see this value that is called 200 and 100 here. That is the meaning of this line, right? So here this is the way to initialize your instances with some value, right? So here you can see this one. Now we have another things. Let's say I want to define like f2 or d2 with the, some value. So how to do that? Here again you have to do like what, d2 dot x equal to 300, something like that. Now I want to print this line, that is called this one, and let's see what is the output right now. So we can overwrite the previous value with new value based on your instances. That is the meaning of this one, right? So let me execute here, and let's see here the new value and old value here. Just execute and click on this debug only options. Now you can see first time you can see only 100 value. This is the default value we already initialized, like x is equal to 100, right? Now you can see I just update like d1 value with 200. Now you can see the updated value, that is called 200, and 100 is the previous. Now we have 200 previous value. Now in d2 I already initialized some value, that is called 300. So now you can see the 300, 200, 300, right? So this is the way to work on the variables part under Apex with the help of object oriented programming, right? So here you can see. So this is the way to work on the variables. Now let me open here, that is called next thing, that is called reference of the class. Okay, so with the help of reference we can also access the some value, but a reference of a class that is initialized using existing instance, it cannot take memory place, but just pointing to the instance. Just always remember, reference is nothing but it's just pointing to the instance. Okay, so how to do that? Let me show you again. So here you can see in my example I already defined like x is equal to 100, right? And then I just initialize like demo f1 equal to new demo, something like that, right? And demo f2 equal to some f1. So f1 already defined here, you can see in the first instance, and f2 is the reference variable of the class, so we can check it. So how to do that? Let me show you here. So in this my example, just focus on that is the concept of this variables and reference variable, all the things, right? We have already defined like integer x equal to some value. Now it's time to do what? Some reference variable. Let me delete these all things, and how to define the variables and all the things, let me show you here. Okay, so for now here let me create the instance of particular class that is called demo class. Demo d1 equals to new demo. Just focus on that. And after that, let's say again I want to define like demo d2 goes to d1. So what is the d2 here? So d2 is a reference variable of the class. Always remember. So d2 is the reference variable of this class. Here let me add d2 here, so it's easy to understand for you. And d1 is an instance of the class. Here you can see, so you can easily understand with the help of this one, right? And after that you can see here that is called demo d2 equal to d1. And how to print that? So you can print like same thing like d1 dot x, d2 dot x, something like that. Here in my case you can see like f1 f2, right? So you can change it out here based on your need. Now let me print this one first of all. So system.debug, just focus on that. Previously you can see the value changes and overriding of the value, right? For now you can see the differences between them, reference and variables. Okay, that's why I'm writing here. So here just like d1 dot x plus some spaces between them like d2 dot x. Okay, so now let me execute this one and let's see what's happened here. Okay, so here now once you execute this one, click on debug only, and now you can see 100 value in both places, right? 100 value. Now it's time to do what? Let me change something under like d1 value. Let's say I want to change d1 value here. Let's say d1 dot x is equals to 200. Just focus on that. And now let me print again this one and let's see what's happened. So just copy this one and paste it here, and again just click on this execute button. And now let me execute this one, and once you execute this, things, just click on debug only. So you can see in both places you can see same value like 200 200. Previously you can see only like 200 and 100, right? And now you can see like reference can be accessed or can be pointing in the current class instance, that is called reference variable. So here you can see like 200 200 in both places, right? So in this my memory you can see like this f1 or f1 is located the same memory location, that is called 100. f2 is also access this value, that is called 100. Same thing. Also if you want to update anything in one value, so both variables can be access the same value, that is called 200 in both places, right? Same thing you can apply for f2 as well. Like if you update the reference variable value, so it's automatic reflect into the f1 and f2 as well. So you can see in the diagram as well, so you can easily understand this whole thing, right? So now let me do that one thing for you here. Let's say I want to change like d2.x is equals to some value, let's say 300, and now this time you can see both places 300 and 300. Let me copy this one and paste it here and just click on this execute button. Okay, so once you execute this button and this code and click on this debug only, now you can see in all the places new value every time, like 100 200 300, something like that. So this is the way to work on this, that is called we can say that variable and reference instances or reference variable. So this is all about like variables and references, right? So for now here you can see like static variable, static block and static method. So how to define that? So we can define that with the help of some like block of codes or block of some syntax. Okay, so how to do that? So again here like static variable, so here just focus on that static variable. So static variable are a special type of variable which are created during the load of the class time. So once you load your class, okay, once you load your class, so it's a automatic initialize at the class loading time. Always remember, this is a very most important point. It should be accessible by the class name. Always remember, if you want to access this static variable, here in my case you can select string name equal to some Rohit, right? So if you want to access this name value, so how to access? Like with the help of class name demo.name. So if you want to print demo.name, definitely you will be see this output, that is called Rohit here. Okay, so that is the meaning of this class. Okay, that is called static variable. Let me show you here in my demo class. Here you can see this is the non-static variable. Let me enter here like non-static variables, variable, not variables, and here like static variables, variable. Now let me add like public static, right? Static string name equals to my name, let's say Rohit. Okay, so here you can see, so this is the static variable. Okay, so how to access this static variable? So you can access this static variable with the help of class name. So how to do that? Just focus on that. Let me remove this all previous code from here to here, right? And after that you have to write your class name, that is called demo, because it's a static variable, so you can use with the help of class name, right? So demo dot, then after that you have to use your variable name here, demo dot name, just like that. Okay, so how to print that? So here if you want to print this one, okay, so you can use like system.debug. Let's say system.debug, system.debug, and after that you can give this like that here. So in my case you can select system.debug demo.name. So same thing you can see in my case here, right? So how to execute? Just click on this execute button and let's see what happened. So name is not accessible. Why? Because just focus on that. Here you can see some small symbols, that is called star. So my class is not saved. So let me save this class first and let's see. Okay, so here let me save this class and let me execute this one. Okay, and after that you can see this request is successfully done, and now it's time to do what? Just open that debug logs here and click on this debug only here. Click on this debug only, and now you can see my name, that is called Rohit here. Just focus on that because it's a static variable. So static variable always call with the help of class name and always accesses by the class name. Always remember, right? So here you can see here these all things, right? So this is the one other another point here. Now you can see static variable, right? We already done this static variable. Now it's time to do like what? Static block. So what is a static block? So static block are the block which are implicitly called when the class is initiated. Okay, that means when the instance of the class is made by doing new operators. Always remember, once you create the instance of that class, that is called demo class, like demo d1 equal to new demo, it can be anything. You can replace your name with the help of these things. It's a variable, right? So once you created this demo d1 equal to new demo, so it's a automatic invoke this static block in your class, and this is the first block of the class. Okay, so how to prove that? This is and also constructor also, once you initialize the constructor, right? So constructor is a special type of member, right? Once you initialize the instance, that time also called the constructor, but static block always the first block, always remember. Okay, so how to do that? So just here, let me show you with practical here, and please be focused. Just let me remove these all things here. Now let me define like static block. Static block. How to define the static block? Just you have to write like static keyword, and after that static body here, and under this one you have to write like system.debug, and here you have to write like static block or is called here, right? After that you have to write your constructor. So you will be check these all things in same place. Okay, if you don't know about the constructor, so you can watch my previous workshop video and you can easily understand these things, right? So here, let's say I want to define here some constructor of that class, constructor. So here you can see some spelling mistakes. Okay, constructor, and how to define the constructor with the help of class name. So constructor, just copy this name and you have to write like public access specifier modifier, like say demo, and finally here this is the body, right? Under this body you have to write like system.debug, and that is called constructor is called, something like that. Okay, and let me save this. So here, once you save this, now we will see these all things here, right? With practically here, just how to execute this class. So you can execute this class with the help of new keyword. You have to initialize the instance of this class. So demo d1 equal to new demo. That's it. This is a simple way. Once you initialize this one, so which one is execute first? Always this one is execute first. That is called static block. After that constructor, right? So how to prove that? Let me show you here. Let me execute this one and let's see what's happened. So once you execute this one, click on debug only. Okay, and now you can see, just focus on that output, like static block is called, constructor is called. Just focus on that, right? And after that, how to check this static block is always called first or not. Okay, and constructor is called in the second place or not. So you can check with the help of order, right? Execution order. So you can change the execution order as well, because you feel like static block is writing here. I already write in the first block here, right? So here you can see this one. Okay, so for now this is the first block, right? So I want to cut this block, and don't feel like this is a you already write into the top, that's why it's automatic execute this one. Okay, so this is the different things. So first of all, here let me format this. If you don't know how to format that code, so just control all, select that code and shift and tab. So once you here you can see like I want to make this like this one code unformatted, and select all and control like shift and tab. If you enter this one, it's automatic format your code. This is the new trick. Okay, so you know already this one, so well and good, otherwise I will tell you. Okay, so here just save this, and now it's time to do what? Just execute this class. So how to execute this class? Let me show you here. Just control here and click on this execute button, and now you can see the static block is always the first block of the class and it's always execute first. So here just click on this debug only here, and now you can see static block is called and constructor is called. So always static block is called, always remember. Okay, if you have something required like at the time of class loading time, so you can use like a static block as well constructor, because constructor always called with the help of instances, right? But here static block is always called first. Okay, so this is the way to define the static block here, right? So here now we have like a static method. So how to define a static method? Let me show you here. So static method are automatically creating during load the time of the class. They are accessed by using class name. The most important point of static method cannot accessible non-static methods and members. Always remember, this is the very most important points here, right? So how to provide these all things? So you can provide these all things. Let me show you here. So under this my class that is called demo class, let me remove these all things here and let me define one static method. Static method here. And once you define this static method, let's say public, if you define any static method, so always use like public static void, and then you have to write your method that is called display. Okay, display method. After that you have to write something like what, like some body that is called system.debug, and that is called static method called is called something like that, right? So here you can see, just save it. Once you save it, again you have to execute this class. So how to execute this class? So you know very well. So this is the static method. So static method always call with the help of class name. So let me show you how to call this method that is called display. So open the Ananias window, and here just copy that class that is called demo and dot operator, and you can access your method that's called this one, right? So just click this one, and after that semicolon. Once you call this method, it's automatic invoke this static method, because static method we can call with the help of class name. Just click on this execute button. Okay, so once you click this execute button, so you will see this output here. Okay, I will show you here. Just click on debug only, and now you can see static method is called, right? So this is all about like different types of methods, like static method, blocks and variables, instances and reference variable, like that. So you can learn these all things from here. Okay, if you don't know, so you can learn here. So this is all about like methods. Now it's time to do what, like access specifier or modifier. So always remember, access specifier always use under the C, C++, right? But modifier we can use modern languages, that is called Java, Python, C Sharp, like that. So that is called modifier. That is the difference between access specifier, like specifier and modifier. Both are same, but based on the language we can use the terminology. This is the terminology. Okay, so here you can see like modifier. So both are same, but few difference between them. Access specifier is a old one and access modifier is a new one. Always remember, right? So it's a special kind of modifier by using which we can define the scope of the type and its member. Always remember. Okay, it's a special kind of modifier and which we can define the scope of the type and its members. Here you can see, right? So how to do that? So here you can see like access modifier. So always remember, in our case that is called Apex programming, we have this kind of access specifier. Here you can see that is called private, protective, public and global. This kind of access specifier we have, right? So for now you can see like most restrictive and least restrictive. So most restrictive you can see like private, protective and public, and finally you can see like global. Global is least restrictive. So based on your requirement you can make it your access specifier, right? So here you can see this diagram and you can easily understand. Now here you can see access modifiers chart. So based on this chart we can easily find out like access specifier. Here you can see like private, protective, public, global, right? Within our outer class we can use this private only. We cannot use inner class, extended class, that is called inheritance. We will see this inheritance in upcoming workshop, in upcoming session as well, within namespace and all, right? So private we can use only the within the class, you can see. Okay, so this is the way. Now we have like protective. So protective we can use like outer class, within the class, inner class, or anything is inherit another class, like parent to child or child to parent relationship in the classes. So we can use this one, that is called extended class, means parent to child. If you have some parent class like parent class, and we have another class that is called child class, so we can inherit parent class into the child class. So that time we can use protective here. Okay, within the namespace we cannot use this one, and not all. We have like public. So public we can use here. You can see within the class, outer class, inner class, extended class, and within the namespace you can see. But we cannot use all. All means outside the org. Okay, we cannot use this one. And after that you can select global. So global means it's a universal. So under the universal we can use anywhere, right? So this is one that is called within the class, outer class, inner class, extended class, and within the namespace and all. So you can use global anywhere. It's a universal, right? It's a earth, and we can use this global things anywhere, anytime, any places. So that is the meaning this axis modifier in this demo. Okay, so guys, this is all about like already let me recap that session here. So we have already learned this static, that is called here let me show you this one, that is called variable instances references of the class. We already learned these things: key points of the class, variable of the class, instances of the class, reference of the class, static variable, static block, and static method. We already learned. If you want to learn, so you can watch this video. Okay, and static block, static variable, and static method, and now axis specifier, axis modifier, and you can see the all the axis modifier here, and finally you can see the chart, what is the difference between